Hi, Eric Gibaud, ericgibaud.com, and today I'm going to tell you my 7 photography tips for October 2025. October already. Yes. Oh, so let's start. For the first tip, thank you so much to Eric Trevisan, a guy that follows my French version of my channel, and he put a great comment there. He said, well, for me, not to calculate anything complicated when I want to compensate on ND filter, I've got a small table written, printed in my bag and check straight away. And that's a great idea. When you have an ND filter, for every stop, it cut light by half, so you have to make your exposure time twice longer. So it's easy. With this small table, the way it does it is, for example, you have the right, doesn't matter the aperture, doesn't matter the ISO, what counts is the stops you have and the time value or the shutter speed. For example, you have 1/8000th of a second and you have 10 stop ND 1000, 10 stop. Well, to keep the same exposure, you have to expose for 1/8 of a second. Or, for example, you have the right exposure with 1/125th of a second, and you put a 4-stop filter, then you will need to drop your speed to 1/8 of a second. It will be properly exposed. So that's so easy to use. That's a great idea. That's really fast. The only thing you need to know is how many stops have your filters. Because sometimes they speak with ND, sometimes they speak with stops, sometimes they speak with a figure like 0.3 or 0.6.9, things like this, okay? You need to know how many stops there are. So this way, it's easy, you know. You have your speed, you have the amount of stops, you check in the small table, and you know what speed you should get to keep the same exposure, and that's it. So this is really a great idea to have this in your bag always. Thank you so much, Eric Trevisan. Tip number 2. Well, I realized that many people would like to know what angle would be covered by a different lens they want to use, but not the angle exactly, the sensation. Let's say you use a full frame camera with a 35mm and you say, okay, but if I bought a 28mm, how would it look? Well, first we should not speak about focal length, we should speak about angles always. It will be a lot easier, but it doesn't matter. You get a protractor, I can't find mine, don't know what it is. 2 pens or whatever you want, something, or 2 sticks, doesn't matter. And you check the angle your lens is covering. For example, you want a 28mm full frame for a full frame camera. It gives you around, I've got figures here, but it's around, you should check with the maker of the lens, 65.5 degrees. You divide by 2, so you place a 0 here, and you have your protect here, you cut it here, you put 0 here, you put your angles here, and then you get close to your eyes, okay? And you see more or less until where it goes. It's easy, okay? If you had, for example, 100mm, that would be 20 degrees, would be 20.4 degrees, would be 10.2 on each side of the 0. You check here, it gives you an idea of what you cover. So when you have a zoom lens, it's easy to imagine. Say you have an 18 to 55mm, you think maybe I should buy a 24 or 35, for example. It's easy, you check on the zoom, but when you have a fixed lens, prime lenses, or you want something wider than what you have, it's hard to imagine how it will fall. So this way, you just do it this way, you check with your angle, you place it, and you've got it, okay? But one thing, normally builders, they give you the angle that it covers, the brands, they give you the angle it covers for the sensor it's thought for. So let's say you have a full frame sensor and the 35mm tells you 54.4 degrees. On an APS-C sensor it will be different, so you need to check that, calculate that. So for example, if the APS-C is Canon, it's not the same as if it's Fujifilm, Sony, or Nikon, because one is a 1.6 crop and the other one is 1.5. But let's look at a Nikon with 1.5. 35mm in this case is not 54 degrees, but 37.1 degrees. But you check it. When the lens is thought for APS-C, the degrees they give you is for that APS-C. You don't need to do any conversion, okay? But this is so easy. You divide the degrees they tell you by 2, so you know how many degrees on each side of the 0, and you check like this as close as you can to your eye, and you see how it falls. I think I tried to explain the best because I forgot my tool, I cannot find it, but that's the way it works. It's easy. Tip number 3. Before I spoke about ND filters. And when we put an ND filter with so many stops, it's really hard to see something and to compose and frame. So we need to see better. Or when you make flash photography, until the flash is lighting the place, you don't see anything. So on mirrorless camera, you can actually force the view. It's important to know that most of the time, depending on the brand of your camera, you could disable the preview. You have like a real preview of the exposure. So if it's overexposed, it's clear. If it's underexposed, it's dark. But when it's in a dark environment, they don't see anything anymore. So you should deactivate this. So you always see like a forced situation, it's forced lighting, and it's brighter, and you always see something. And depends on the brand of your camera. Check the manual of your camera. Maybe you've never seen it, but check the manual. Depending on the camera. On Fujifilm, for example, it's a deactivating preview. On Olympus or M System, it's a boosting preview. So it depends, but do this. So this way, even if it's in a really dark environment, whether it's the environment or because you have an ND filter here, you will be able to see through the viewfinder or the monitor properly, and you can frame and compose. That's important. Oh, really important, I was going to forget. Sony users. You will not find this in your camera. Why? Because there's no such thing in the menu. What you need to do is to go to assigning something, a function to a button. That's crazy, but that's the way it works. So when you go in the menu for assigning a function to a button, then you have a list of what you can assign. And this is there, deactivate preview. So this way, when you click your button here, that will work. But otherwise, if you search in the menu where you have the way to deactivating this, it doesn't work. You need to assign it to a button. Okay, that's important. I was going to forget. By the way, if you wanted to help me, don't forget I've activated the member area of my channel. There's join button just below, and you will receive a star next to your name. So I answer your question with priority because I know you're a member. Thank you so much. Also have affiliated links in description. Please use them. That really helps me. And don't forget that if you wanted to buy a Luminar Neo or Aperture by Skylum, get a 10% discount with my code ERIC10. 10% on top of any offer they have. You still place the code and it's cheaper for you. Great. And with Eric20, you get 20% discount on K&F website, where you will find all the accessories by K&F Concept and more brands like tripods, filters, bags, all this. Thank you so much. Let's carry on. Tip number 4, limiting your autofocus range. Let's say you are in a concert and you are making pictures and the stage is 10 meters away. And there are many people between your camera and the stage, and your autofocus sometimes goes to the hand of someone that is in front of you or the head, but it's really hard for you to catch the singer or the musician or whoever, okay? There's one way to do that. Most cameras let you limit the range of autofocus. You could say the stage is at 10 meters, so I'm going to make sure to put from 8 meters to infinity, or if there's a curtain behind, you leave infinity, but maybe if there's no curtain behind, there's more things behind, then limit to 20 meters or according to the size of the stage. So this way you're sure the camera is not going to focus on something that is closer than what you want and nor further than what you want, and also it will be a lot faster because it will not be hunting on things that are really close. It will only try to focus within this range. So this is first thing. Second, on many tele lenses, you have a switch where you can say autofocus on the full range from minimum focusing distance to infinity, or from, for example, 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meters. If your subject is past this minimum on the switch, put it on. So this way it will not hunt at 50 centimeters if your subject is 10 meters away. It will start from 3 meters or 1.5 meters or whatever, that is the minimum. So activate this. Try to use this when the situation needs it, and you will save a lot of pictures, and you will make sure that it focuses a lot faster because it will search only in the range you've told it to search. I think it's a good tip when you have many people or many things between you and your subject to make sure to avoid them. Tip number 5. Not all cameras are allowed to do it, but I tell the tips because there are more and more cameras that do. This is called pre-shot or pre-burst. What is that? Let's say you do action photography, you're not sure when the action is going to happen. Let's say there's a football player that is running behind the ball and is going to shoot, but you're not sure when. So you're there, you have a burst rate here, but you don't know when to start. Well, when you activate pre-shoot or pre-burst or Pro Capture in Olympus, it's called. Well, when you half press the shutter, it starts making picture and start to keep them. And when you finally click for the definitive burst, it will keep shooting. You not halfway but full. It will keep shooting for your burst, but it will also keep the pictures you made before the official click. Okay, it means if you clicked a bit too late, you will still have the last pictures. It keeps like 10, 15, 16, depending on the camera, before you made the official click. Okay, so this way you are sure not to miss the action. If you have this possibility on your camera and you do action photography, use it. But beware, don't start half pressing half an hour before, because you will fill the buffer, and then it will take time to write to your card, and when the thing will happen, then the camera will stop because it's not ready, because it's writing on the card. Okay, so use it at the last second. You're not sure, half press, okay, and if nothing happened, you lift your finger, that's it. But if you feel, okay, that's it now, I click, I do it. Tip number 6. Many people ask me, when do you activate or not the IBIS or even lens stabilization? And I think the rule of thumb is easy. When you handheld, you activate it always. When you are on a tripod, depending on the cameras, some cameras, they create like a bit of shake. Some don't, some are automatic and they activate only if they feel there is something moving, but others have like the motors that are moving, and it will create a vibration. When you handheld, your speed is high enough not to make this problem, but on a tripod, if it's long exposure, you will notice it. So my rule of thumb is, on tripod, always deactivate the stabilization. I've seen it on my Fujifilm GFX 100S2 with 102 million pixels. On a tripod, you do see there is a shake. When you're on low speed, you do see the difference with and without stabilization, so I deactivate it. When you're on a monopod, well, depends on the possibilities of your IBIS, but some let you control if you want just stabilization this way, this way, this way. Well, logically, if it's on a monopod, you should deactivate this stabilization because you don't need it anymore. So check your manual. But one thing I recommend, many people feel that, oh, it's stabilized, that's it. No, that's not it. Do some testing, some situation with tripod, without tripod, handheld, different speed, all this, and compare yourself. So you know your camera, you know when you should have it activated or not. Some camera can have it on always, and it's no problem. Other, it is a problem. So you should do some testing. Don't trust what they tell you, okay? Do some testing. Tip number 7. When people start making photography, so often they shoot anything and everything. So they have their sunset, kids, this path, stars, okay? They shoot everything. So they're all the time changing the configuration of their camera. Right now I should put the ISO up, or I should put now the speed down, or whatever. They go crazy and they miss a lot of pictures because they're always fine-tuning the camera, and they forget all cameras have one thing, it's just the profiles. These profiles are made for that. So when you're a bit more concentrated on what you want to do and you're not doing anything and everything, you specialize a bit more. For some situation you can have a preset On some cameras it's a wheel, on other cameras it's a menu, doesn't matter. But let's say if I do night photography, I know my ISO is 3200 ISO, I could have it on a profile already set. If I want to focus always to infinity, if I can control it in the camera, I could have it set and keep it as a profile. When I go my kids' picture and they do sport, for example, I know the minimum I don't know, speed will be this one or that one. I could preset that. Or when I'm going to do indoor photography of this sport, for example, maybe I know the color balance I need. You should tune the camera and save it as a preset. Normally they have minimum 4 presets, sometimes they have even 10 or more, but use the preset. You will miss less pictures because let's say I'm doing some landscape photography and then an animal comes here running, and if I had to change my setting, I probably will miss it. But if I have a preset for landscape and one for action, I can turn the wheel here and be ready for action. So use the preset so you're ready a lot faster when you're changing the type of photography you're making. So that's it. These were my 7 tips for October 2025. I hope you like them. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you feel it may interest other people, please share it on social networks. If you have not done it yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, the small button down here and the small bell. If you click on the bell, you will get notified when I upload a new video. My website, ericgibaud.com. If you have any question, can leave a comment below. I'll remind you I've activated the member area of my YouTube channel. There's a join button just below and you will get a small star next to your name, so I know you are a member, so I answer your question and comments with priority. I also have affiliated links in the description. Please use them, that really helps me. Don't forget, with Eric 10 you get 10% discount with Luminar, Neo and Aperty. 10% on top of any offer they have. You still place your code, it's even cheaper for you. And if you use the code Eric20 on K&F, you will get a 20% discount. K&F, where you will find all the accessories by K&F Concept and more brands, filters, bags, tripod, all this. Thank you so much. That helps you, that helps me, it's so great. Thank you. I also leave you my PayPal account in case you wanted to make a donation. Thank you very much, please take care of yourself and see you soon. Bye.